Hi everyone, welcome to Enjoy English School. I'm Steven.
大家好，我是 Bernice 老师。
Today's date is December 7th. We're going to be covering pages 18 to 21 with the topic Spotlight on Taiwan.
好，我们今天又要来介绍我们台湾呢有一些什么样很值得大家去旅行的地方。
A relaxing day trip to Jiaoxi.
好，我们今天要来去礁溪泡温泉喽。好 ，relaxing day， 这个 relaxing 是一个形容词，形容这个 day 就是表示可以去那边好好的放轻松一下。
And what is a day trip? It's a trip that you can take, a vacation that you can take, and you don't have to spend the night. You
对
can just，
不
go.
一定要度夜的，
You can
过
go
夜。
and come back in one day. Okay? Don't miss the beautiful trails and hot springs of Jiaoxi.
好，为什么我们今天要介绍礁溪这个点呢？因为在这边呢，你会看到非常漂亮的一些 trails， 就是一些山里面的小步道呢，还有呢一些温泉。
All right, let's get started.
好的。
Jiaoxi is one of Taiwan's most beautiful places.
礁溪呢是在台湾很多漂亮地方之中的其中一个，所以当我们用到 one of 的时候呢，后面这个名词别忘了要加上 s。
但如果它是台湾最美的，就是说 Jiaoxi is the most beautiful place in Taiwan.
没错。
Okay? It's also a great spot to visit when you need a break from city life.
好，同时呢，礁溪呢也是一个非常棒的一个 spot， 就是一个 place， 一个地方，我们可以去那边呢好好的参访一下。然后尤其呢是当你需要一个 break， 你想要好好的中途呢有一个短暂的休息，跟你的这个 city life 中间，好 从你这么忙碌的 city life 里面，城市生活里面，你要找到一个休息的地方，礁溪就是一个不错的选择。
那 spot 这个中文呢，就是点，like spot 就是点点嘛，对不对？所以一个观光点还是一个很好的一个 vacation 的一个点，我们会用 spot。Okay? 当然 of course, you can also use the word place. It's also a great place to visit. There's no difference between place and spot. Just some people will use this word spot. 然后你要知道那是点的意思。Okay? So, you can start your trip in Jiaoxi by connecting with nature at Matcha Mountain.
它那边有一座这个山呢，就叫抹茶山，不是说你爬上去可以把那个山吃掉，只是说它的名字是这样子来的。那他说呢，我们可以呢，假设要今天去礁溪，他建议的点呢，就是一开始的时候，我们的旅程呢，就是呢，可以借由要跟大自然好好的 connecting with， 就是跟他这个大自然建立好这样的一个良好的关系，也就是去亲近大自然。那这时候我们就可以去爬它这座抹茶山。
然后注意一个文法，就是 start 开始某一个事情，然后用什么方式去开始，就是 start A by doing B. Okay? So you could say start your homework by doing research. Okay? 如果要开始你的功课，先借由从研究开始。那个 by 后面的动词必须要记得要 ing.
对。
Also in Chinese, 抹茶, right? In English, we go with the Japanese spelling, so we would say matcha. Okay, so
发音不太一样。
要注意一下，因为美国人不见得知道抹茶跟 matcha 是一样的东西。Okay? It got its funny nickname from a Japanese photographer.
好，为什么这座山被称之为抹茶山？就是它得到它这样子的一个 funny， 就是很有趣的这样的一个 nickname， 就是这个小名，这个绰号是来自于呢一个日本的摄影师帮他取的。
Right, in this situation, it's not really a ha 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 kind of funny, right? It's more like an interesting, a very cute nickname. Okay, so sometimes when we're trying to say something is cute and interesting, we'll use funny as an adjective.
没错。
And a nickname 就是一个绰号，小名还是绰号。
对。
Do you have a nickname, Bernice 老师？
Beauty， 没有开玩笑。
That was perfect.
完蛋 Steven 老师讲不下去。
My nickname is Rong Rong because my last name is Rong, so people call me Rong Rong. So that's my nickname. Okay, so everyone has a nickname, and this mountain has a nickname, Matcha Mountain. He told people the mountain's dark green colors reminded him of matcha ice cream.
所以他看到这座山就想到了日本很有名的抹茶冰淇淋，所以他告诉人们说呢，为什么这个山它的颜色就是有一点 dark green， 就是有点比较暗的、比较深的这个绿色。那这个颜色呢，提醒了这个 him 就是指这个 photographer 这个摄影师 remind somebody of something， 好，它的介系词用 of， 就提醒了这个摄影师说呢，原来他们这个日本有一个很有名的抹茶冰淇淋，所以这个山的颜色看起来就像这个冰淇淋一样。
Okay, so 在中文我们可能会说他提醒了我什么什么，比较多是在讲事情，他提醒我一些事情。英文这个 remind 比较像是这个东西让我想起另外一个东西，有一个连结那种感觉。比如说我吃了一个东西，我说this reminds me of my mom's cooking。
所以它有点类似像你想到，突然回想到一个什么样的事情，
让你联想到什么。所以我吃的那个食物让我联想到我妈妈煮的菜。OK， 所以可以是这样用。然后不要忘记，刚刚 Bernice 老师提醒了大家 ，remind someone of something。Climbing up Matcha Mountain isn't a walk in the park. Though， 对不起，我看到那个 though， 所以这个 though 放在最后面，因为有的时候那个 comma 会让人家想停顿，但是这个不要停顿 ，OK？ 因为说的时候直接是 climbing up Matcha Mountain isn't a walk in the park though， 但是我们的写下来的时候必须要有那个逗号。
对，这个 though 放在这个句尾，然后我们前面加个逗点呢，它这个 though 如果就是类似像 however 的意思，然而这样的一个状况，所以就是说，如果我们今天要去爬这个抹茶山，这件事情，所以同学可以看到，我们用动词来作为我们的这个主词，所以这边的动词它用的是 is， 要用单数的，然后动词你要加上 ing， 所以他说你去爬抹茶山这件事情呢，其实并不是像你去公园里面好像走一下那个感觉，意思就是说它一点都不简单。
Right, so it's a walk in the park， 就是说那个真的简单的要命，
没错
，OK， 不一点都不会让我流到汗，很轻轻松松就可以做。So climbing up Matcha Mountain isn't a walk in the park. That means it's very difficult.
对
OK， 那这个 though， 刚刚老师有说 however 跟它可以取代。However 呢，如果要用的话，要放在 sentence 前面。However, climbing up Matcha Mountain isn't a walk in the park.
对，
所以只是给你一些不同的选择去写一样的事情。那 climbing, even though it has a B, this B is silent, so please don't pronounce climbing.
对
OK， 是 climbing。OK， 很像一个 M 当成它的尾巴。
没错。
Okay? It takes about 3 hours to reach the top, so the trip can be quite demanding.
好，为什么这个作者说爬这个抹茶山不是像公园里面散散步那么简单啦？你要爬这个山大概要花你3个小时的时间。Take 我们知道是表示呢你要花费的时间，然后 to do something 去做一件事情，所以你大约要花3个小时的时间，然后你才能够攻顶，走到那个山的最顶端。所以呢，这一趟旅程，这个 trip 就是指从山下走到山顶这样的一个 trip 呢，有的时候我们会认为它有一点呢 demanding 就是觉得要耗费我们精神精力的。
然后它前面这个 quite demanding 就是满。
对，
让
挺怎么样的？
对，挺怎么样的？它当然也可以说 ，so the trip can be very demanding。
没错。
But it's not going to be hard for everybody, right? Some people might think it's not that hard. Some people might think it's easy, right? So then you could, it's better to use quite to give kind of more room for both sides.
没错。
It can be quite demanding. 就像我们中文会说，它蛮令人很觉得很累，还是它很让人家觉得很累。
对，所以用到 quite 跟 very， 它的对听的人来讲就是有点不太一样的意思。
However, it's worth your effort because there are many beautiful things to see along the way.
这句话我们就看到 however 放在句首了。可是呢，这件事情虽然说，你爬上去到这个山上大概要3个小时，非常的吃力。可是你真的爬上去之后呢，你会觉得这件事情真的 worth your effort， 就是很值得你这样子一路很努力的爬上去。为什么呢？因为你爬到这个山顶的时候，你会看到非常非常漂亮的一些东西，而且不是就在山顶上面，你整个沿路这个山上都可以看得到。
Along the way 就是沿路的 ，OK？And it's worth your effort. Effort 就是你付出任何的精神，跟你任何的汗你的任何的出力精力。
对。
可是如果你今天是买一个东西，人家会说，Oh, is it worth it? 这值得吗？你说Oh, it's worth your money。
对，就是值得你花这笔钱啦。
还是你花时间去做一个事情，人家也可以说 It's worth your time。值得你的时间。
没错。
Okay, leave early to avoid the heat and follow St. Marian's hiking trail。
一路上看到漂亮的风景之后呢，我们要赶紧的离开这个山 ，leave early。为什么要赶快离开呢？因为他建议说，你早一点离开这座山呢，才能够避免这样的 heat， 尤其像我们现在的天气越来越热了，好，所以你就可以尽量的避免这个天气的炎热，所以赶紧呢去做这个 leave early。这个早一点登山这个动作，那么呢，并且你还可以怎么样 follow， 就是沿着好下一个地方走，就是另外有一个 hiking trail， 在这个山里面有一个圣母的登山步道，你可以沿着这个步道这样子走下去。
那圣母呢，还是圣人？我们会讲 saint，S-A-I-N-T，but we will shorten it to ST。period, OK？那 ST period 有的时候也是 street，S-T-R-E-E-T， 但是平常在一个人的名字前面，我们会知道那是圣人的意思。
对，没错。
So St. Marian's hiking trail, S-A-I-N-T。At the start, you will pass through a peaceful area with many waterfalls.
一开始的时候就叫 at the start， 或者我们可以用 in the beginning。好，在一开始的时候呢，你首先呢先会经过 pass through a peaceful， 就是觉得呢你觉得非常的祥和和平的一个地区。那么这里面呢有非常非常多的瀑布，你可以欣赏。
Okay, let's take a break.
好的。
Later, you will reach the 圣母 Church.
好，接着呢，之后呢，你爬一爬之后呢，你就会到达一个地点，它是一个 church， 一个像山庄一样的地方，然后它的名字就是圣母山庄。
Right, so reach, this verb, it can also mean to use your hand to try to reach something. Okay, I am reaching for the pen.
对，就是你手伸出去可以碰到的地方。
But in this situation, it's not using your arm to try to get something. It's about getting to somewhere by foot. Okay, so you could say later you will arrive at the 圣母 Church, or later you will get to the 圣母 Church. But if you want to use different words, you always have to use the prepositional words that go with it as well.
没错，所以同学，如果你对于介系词比较不熟悉的，你就用 reach， 因为它不用加介系词。那如果你想要加介系词，就用 get to 或者 arrive at a place。
Okay, and here I want to just remind everybody, 圣母 Church. In Chinese, we know this is 圣母, but from Americans' point of view, they might not know the intonations. Okay,
对，没错。
他不知道那些二声、三声、四声，那就 intonations. So they might pronounce it differently from what you're used to. They might say 圣母 Church,
对，
圣母 Church. Because there is no one way to say it when it comes to English. So when you're listening to somebody who is speaking Chinese, when they don't know how to speak Chinese, or when they're saying a Chinese word in an English context, you have to kind of use your imagination to know what they're trying to say. You have to guess.
对，因为这个语调的不同，那这个英文跟中文本来就会不一样，所以有的时候我们听到外国人在发我们中文的某一些发音的时候，他本来语调就会不太一样。
Yeah, example I can think of is like when you say names in English,
对。
sometimes people that only speak Chinese, they don't know what you're trying to say.
没错。
Like I said, oh, I really like the singer Mariah Carey. And then the person looked at me,
玛丽
who?
凯莉
Yeah, I was
好
like,
难翻。
他一直说谁谁谁，我说
对。
Mariah Carey， 然后他就看那个字典，哦，
对对对，他们会讲玛丽亚凯莉，好，所以就用这样的发音方式。
但是如果你仔细听，其实都还蛮像的，所以就是有的时候要用想象力，然后脑袋要转一下，你才可以猜得出，就是外国人在讲中文名称的时候，他们的意思是什么，
是的，
稍微要注意一下。Okay, you can stop there and admire its unique style that mixes Chinese and Western architecture.
好，那么这个圣母山庄呢，是一个地方，你可以在那边可以稍作停留休息一下，然后呢，你可以顺便的欣赏 admire 就是欣赏一下这个圣母山庄呢，它有一个比较独特的一个它建筑的风格，它的风格是怎么样呢 ？That 一样，我们用一个冠带的形容词子句来形容这样的一个风格，它的风格里面是结合了 这个所谓的中式的，还有这个西式的合并这样的一个建筑风格。
Right. So here you could also say you can rest there. Okay, R-E-S-T 就是休息一下。
没错。
Okay, and admire 欣赏。除此之外，我们也可以用 enjoy，可以享受 E-N-J-O-Y。It's unique style. 这个 unique 那个 Q 是弄成像 K 那种声音哦。那 unique style 我们也可以说 it's special style that blends Chinese and Western architecture. 那 blend B-L-E-N-D
一样是混合在一起，
一样跟 mix 一样的意思。所以那种打果机，它叫
打果机，
它叫
果汁机，
它叫 blender，
没错，
okay? 因为它是把你所有的那些水果蔬菜把它融洽在一起，OK？ 所以 blender 我们现在知道是打果机，果汁机，and it mixes Chinese and Western architecture. And architecture is 那个建筑 ，alright? So architect A-R-C-H-I-T-E-C-T 就是个建筑
师，没错。
那不要忘记这个 CH 是变成 K 的声音，像 K 的声音，而不是 Architecture 不是 architecture. When you reach the top of Matcha Mountain, you will experience a beautiful view in all directions.
哇，所以当你呢爬到这个山上面，山顶这个抹茶山的山顶的时候呢，你就可以怎么样？饱览到这个 experience 就是经历到，你可以经历到呢，它是山上真的非常的漂亮，而且是 in all directions， 就是360度，你全部都可以看得很清楚。
The thin white clouds that float across the sky make it seem like you are walking in heaven.
对，因为我们爬到山顶了嘛，那是不是连这个天空比较接近啊？好，所以呢，你会看到这个天上呢飘着这个 thin white clouds， 就是这样子薄薄稀疏的白云呢，而且这些白云都是 float across the sky， 漂浮在这个蓝天上面，哇，让你觉得似乎好像什么样的感觉呢？你好像是走在这个云端上，有没有走在天堂里面那种感觉
？So here we see the two adjectives to describe clouds, thin and white. When you have two adjectives together, if there is a color, one of them is a color, you don't need to use a comma. Okay, so thin, white clouds, one of them is a color, so no comma.
对。
But if I wanted to use a non-color adjective like thin, long clouds, then you must have a comma in between thin and long.
所以这是两个形容词形容名词的时候，如果今天你是用一个形容词搭配一个颜色，那我们就不需要特别中间加上这个逗点。那如果你是两个不一样的形容词，然后去形容今天后面的名词，那你中间加个逗点。
Right? And then across the sky, this preposition, across, it really does paint a mental picture for you that these clouds are across the sky. Okay, so prepositional words are very short usually, but they really have a lot of power in an English sentence.
对，所以介系词呢，有的时候它会展现出一些文字的力量。
Make it seem like， 我们先说 seem like 就似乎很像，
似乎很像，
对不对？那 make it seem like 就是让你似乎很像在走在天堂那种感觉。但是因为让，很多人会觉得英文如果直翻就是 let。所以我有很多朋友会说 let it seem like you are walking in heaven， 但其实让如果是要翻到英文的话是 make。Okay, make it seem like you are walking in heaven， 这样才是正确的。Okay, so let's do the review.
好的。
I want a relaxing day.
我们好希望可以今天好好的放松一下。
Okay, and I like to go on hiking trails.
我们今天要去爬山喽，走个健行的。这个 trail 就是指这个小道的意思。
Alright, so my nickname is Rong Rong. Bernice Laws' nickname is Beauty. So nickname is
好，我们的小名绰号。
And the reason why I like to go hiking is because I like to connect with nature. What is connect with nature?
对，我们想要去爬山，就是想要好好的接近、亲近大自然。
What is a photographer?
一个摄影师。
If I say something is a walk in the park, what does that mean?
就是表示这件事情非常容易做。
What if I say it's not a walk in the park?
这个事情就没那么容易啦。
Yeah, it's actually very demanding.
对，确实呢，比较稍微这个耗时耗力的。
Okay, Okay, so let's pass through the park to get to the MRT. 是什么意思？
好，就是我们要经过一个点。
Okay, 然后为了可以达另外一个点。
没错。
Okay, so pass through. All right, and if we get to the top of the mountain, we can look around and it's so beautiful in all directions.
没错，很多这个登山的客呢，要爬到山顶，就是为了可以从365度的角来整个全览它的景观。
And we know mix is
混合在一起
and blend 也是
混合在一起
然后 blender
是果汁机，
果汁机不是打果机。
对，也可以啦，打果机也蛮可爱的讲法。
All right, thank you guys so much for joining us today, and we'll be back tomorrow, so we'll see you then.
拜拜。
第18页深入台湾，抹茶山与泡汤美食之旅。
A relaxing day trip to Jiaoxi. Jiaoxi is one of Taiwan's most beautiful places. It's also a great spot to visit when you need a break from city life. You can start your trip in Jiaoxi by connecting with nature at Matcha Mountain. It got its funny nickname from a Japanese photographer. He told people the mountain's dark green colors reminded him of matcha ice cream. Climbing up Matcha Mountain isn't a walk in the park, though. It takes about 3 hours to reach the top, so the trip can be quite demanding. However, it's worth your effort because there are many beautiful things to see along the way. Leave early to avoid the heat and follow St. Marian's hiking trail. At the start, you will pass through a peaceful area with many waterfalls. Later, you will reach the Shengmu Church. You can stop there and admire its unique style that mixes Chinese and Western architecture. When you reach the top of Matcha Mountain, you will experience a beautiful view in all directions. The thin white clouds that float across the sky make it seem like you are walking in heaven.